It is a brand new edition for a brand new month, a brand new team in a lot of ways of Flyers Daily. Brought to you by Ticketmaster. Make more memories live. This year's edition of the Philadelphia Flyers make some pretty good memories here early. And joining us on this Monday, as he does every Monday from PhiladelphiaFlyers.com, NHL.com, and HockeyHotStove.com, it is Bill Meltzer. It has been a piping hot stove, Bill. But where I want to start is kind of on a somber note to begin with. And you had pointed out this tweet to me from Kevin Dineen, former Flyer, and, of course, son of Bill Dineen and a longtime NHLer. I know Kevin Dineen's in a fight right now. Can you shed some more light on Kevin Dineen's diagnosis?
Yeah, Kevin is battling pancreatic cancer. Being the human being that Kevin is, his first thoughts were of other people. Letting, hey, if you're battling something, you're not alone in it. And that's just, the Dineens are just unbelievably, the entire family. They're such good people. Obviously, I always enjoyed Kevin as a player, one of my all-time favorite players, but even better person. So, on behalf of everyone, wish Kevin the best of this fight. He's always fought the good fight. He'll fight the good fight again, and he has people have his back.
Yeah, I certainly haven't gone through my battle in the last year. I wish Kevin Dineen a ton of strength and acceptance to let others help. That's a big thing because as men, as hockey players, whatever, we have a lot of pride, and we tend not to ask or let people help you. It helps them, and I wish Kevin Dineen nothing but massive strength in his fight against pancreatic cancer. We are thinking about you, and we are behind you 100%. So our thoughts and prayers are with Kevin Dineen and his family at this time. Bill, it's been a remarkable week in Flyers hockey. We tend to look back at the week that was, look ahead at the week, but I'm going to go week that was +1. Because we talked about that Devils game where they changed their forecheck a week prior. It is very difficult in today's NHL that is very parity-driven to beat any team twice in a week. We saw the Flyers do it against St. Louis. That's St. Louis. They're a bottom feeder, this team.
Yeah.
To do it against the division-leading New Jersey Devils, and I don't care if they have Jack Hughes or not, is something pretty remarkable to me. They beat them 6-3 at Xfinity Mobile Arena in what was a wild high-event game. And we saw yet another high-event game this past Saturday at the Prudential Center, and the Flyers come out with a 5-3 win. How impressive are those two wins over the same team at division leader this early in the season?
Well, start with this, that Devils came into that game without any regulation losses at home.
9-0-1, yeah.
9-0-1 at home. So they were virtually unblemished on home ice. Loved the first period. The Flyers came out with just had a tremendous pace, checked really well. They scored first, playing from ahead. It's something we've talked about over and over again. Even when the Devils evened it up, though, the Flyers went right back at it. That was impressive to see. And really just there was so much to life in the hockey game from a Flyers standpoint. Forging ahead in the second period, and the Devils, they were going to go quietly.
Yep.
Came back, got within a goal. Flyers had to step up, kill some penalties, get some big saves. All the things that you look at that is part of learning how to win, right? They checked all those boxes in that game to win that game in regulation. Both teams were in the same boat in terms of schedule busyness. Both of them, 4 games in 6 nights, 3 games in 4 nights. But the Flyers had all that on the road.
Yeah,
so that's to do that, play and to win. Finally, win the second game of a back-to-back, first time this year, just second time in the last season plus. So that's all the boxes you want to check. They did in that game, and when there was adversity, they played through it. There was just a lot to like about that. Of course, hockey being hockey, everyone has to have short memories. because they're right back at it, and the good feeling from a road trip can disappear fast when you come home if you don't continue what you're doing. But they this past week, even going back to that first game against the Devils, you don't expect to score 4 goals in 3 minutes and 3 goals in 29 seconds or whatever that was. That's an outlier, but to be able to create offense, do all the things they did in those 2 games. These are things that if they can replicate that with some consistency, you're on to something.
Bill, the performance of Dan Vladar, he's had some magnificent performances this year, but I don't know if it's the recency of this game or not, but it may have been his best because his anticipatory skills and play reading were on full display, full value. Like the 2-on-1 where the cross ice pass comes from his left to his right, and then he's got to go back to his left again, and he gets that left pad down. He is unbelievable lateral low, which is a little bit of an anomaly for a big man to be that explosive. But it's a guy who used the size beautifully by not taking too much ice and not have to travel side to side quite as far.
Yeah, no, I absolutely think you hit the nail right on the head with the things that Vladar's been doing. And one of the things that you have to really like, too, is that he did that in the last 5 weeks of last season with a different team.
All on the road?
All on the road, yeah, for the Flames.
Came 9 of those 11 teams were fighting for a playoff spot, and on 4 back-to-backs, rather.
Every game that he played, the 7 games he played down the stretch, every one of them meant something. Mm-hmm. And he just picked up where he left off at the end of last year. And if anything, he's gotten better since that time. So, there were some hints of it. It's not a fluke with him when he in his career, when he's been able to stay healthy for a stretch of time, he's shown himself capable. You can't always go by the numbers, right? Yeah. So, I mean, the way that Vladar has played, they brought him in figuring he's a capable goaltender and he's going to be able to keep you in games when he has the opportunity to play. I mean, right now, with all due respect to Sam Ersson, who's had, I think, back-to-back pretty decent outings himself.
I thought he was good on Friday. Very good.
Yeah, he was. He was for sure. But right now, you have a clear number 1 and number 2.
Yeah. And Vladar's earned that. That's all earned. And I think the thing with Vladar, like, context matters. You got to look at the situations he was in throughout his career. The fact of the matter is he's never played more than 30 games. We're just a little over a quarter way in the season. He's played half that already. He's got 15 under his belt. And he has been he's in the prime of his career. He turned 28 in August. He's sitting there in a great spot. He's got a ton of confidence right now, and he looks phenomenal. I mean, they were just looking to upgrade the goalie room. They've gotten well more than an upgrade. Yeah. And I think that Vladar's playing so well, it's going to push Ersson to another level as well. So that is all good. Bill, out of all the guys that scored multi-point games in that New Jersey game, I want to talk about a guy who didn't end up on the score sheet. Because I see a lot of – in this episode, I'm just going to say it now. I'm going to settle some family business in this episode, all right? Because I'm getting tired of seeing certain things. And you know this, Bill, and a lot of people that watch this podcast regularly know this, that if I see this narrative out there, I will call it out. Like there was a guy that in the comments last week that said, stop calling it a rebuild. It's not a rebuild. And I said, his name was Flyers Purgatory. I said, don't tell me what to call it because I've lived every day of this as you have and many of these fans. And just because it wasn't a tear down to the studs rebuild doesn't mean it's not a rebuild. It was impossible to tear it all the way down to the studs because you were in a flat cap world with players that you could not move to do that. Yeah. So my gripe one of this episode, though, is about Sean Couturier because I thought he played his best game in 2 years on Saturday. He was physical. He had bite. He's become a captain that's got a little bit of bite as a leader. You know, all these people want accountability from a captain. The moment he gives it, they kind of go, oh, well, he's going to scare everybody off. Baloney, number one. But this guy, people going, you got to get Mishkov off his line. Well, meanwhile, the team is rolling. All three forward line, the top three forward lines are all contributing.
Yeah.
And he's got 15 points as well. So I know it doesn't look pretty. It doesn't look sexy with Couturier. It never will. But he's been effective. This notion of, you got to get Mishkov away, it's all BS to me.
No doubt. Or sticking him on the fourth line or any of the narratives that you hear. It's like, well, are you actually watching and paying attention to the games, right?
Yeah.
Because
it's like a bloodthirst for like him to be on the fourth line when he has not even come close to earning it. And I get it doesn't look as good as some other guys because sorry, I interrupted you.
No. I'm right there with you. He's done so many things in terms of getting buy-in to the things that they're doing. As you said, you ask for accountability, and it's never a personal thing with him. There's that narrative too. It's like he wants his teammates to succeed. As much as anybody out there, but it's just a matter of everyone has to be on the same page, and if it's calling out if someone is not on the same page and correcting course, he's going to do that. And I've been very impressed with the job he's done as a leader. He's he went a while without a goal, and then he had two pretty big ones in back-to-back games. But he's not even when he was putting up 30 goals a year and putting up 74 points a year. He was never to me really a guy you're going to measure first and foremost by the numbers. Really, it's the overall package of things that he brings. And in terms of what the team has done so far this year, it's a collective effort, but he deserves as much credit as anyone out there. Would it be great to have that true, the Crosby or McDavid kind of a first center, who's going to just light up the scoreboard, that kind of thing, yeah, it would, but they don't have that. And so really, as you said, it's about balancing your lines and, finding ways to win. And I think Couturier is an important part of why they have been finding ways to win. So I'm right there with you.
Yeah, people really glommed on when he passed that puck to Dvorak in the corner. And I hated that pass.
Yeah,
I mean, you got to shoot that. But the fact of the matter is, he had some really nice setups for Mishkov. And I think I like the physicality he's playing. I mean, that battle he had in front with Brendan Dillon was no joke. That tells me the back feels pretty good.
Yes. Yeah.
He leveled Dillon before that scuffle even in front. So, I mean, I had him clap back at me in an interview, a post-game interview I did. I asked him after the St. Louis game, and it was the Hockey Fights Cancer game. I asked him about the start, and he said, I didn't mind our start. We were just down 2-0. Yeah. And I kind of went back to it, and he kind of clapped me back a little bit. It was like, no, we don't mind. We did some good things. We can't let the scoreboard always just dictate good or bad. If we played well, then we got to stick to it. And the stick-to-itiveness of this team has been remarkable, Bill. If you're looking for any kind of identity here early, it starts with an R, and that's resiliency.
Yeah. They've proven in droves, right? So it's nice that they played in front the last couple of games. You definitely want to see a lot more of that. But even the first game against the Devils, they gave up a goal. No, they got it right back, and they had the explosion right after that. But but the way that they've been able to reset, quite often it's been maybe not the best first period, but they come along later, realizing there's still time, so you might have to chip away sometimes. I mean, really, if you look at the wins this week, they accomplished them in different ways. The Florida game was very, very different, of course, from the two games that followed it. And when you look over the course of a season, when you have a team that that wins, makes the postseason, the Flyers still have a lot to prove. Don't get me wrong, because it's a test of time thing. But still, when they're winning games in different ways recently, and that to me is the mark of what you want to see in a team.
Yeah, no doubt. It's to being able to be that little bit of a chameleon and find different ways to win when you're forced into different situations. Let's talk about one of the big offseason additions. I mean, Dvorak has been obviously very good for the team as well in a very understated role. But let's go right to the big one. Let's go to Zegras because Billy's leading the team. He's tied for the team lead with 9 goals with Tyson Forster, who, by the way, is off to a really good start and even missed a couple of games. But Zegras leading in goals and points with 24. He's got 3 on the power play. He's got 6 power play assists. And maybe one of the biggest areas that he has really impacted, though, is that 5-0 in the shootout. He is in his career 17 for 25, 68%. I mean, that's like all-time best. He's got a different bank of moves, it seems, for any situation. And the fact that he's the Flyers' first shooter, I think, is something that needs to be pointed out. Because if you can take a 1-0 lead in a shootout, you put such immense pressure on their shooters and their goalie. Yeah. That has been such a key for me. And deploying him first, I think, is a huge element.
Yeah, and I'll go back to the penalty shot where he was actually stopped in overtime.
That's true.
At Bennington, right? Yeah. You knew when that got to the shit, he was scoring. I mean, he's pretty automatic anyway, but it's a whole different feeling. Even though the Flyers, even a year ago, they actually had a winning record in shootouts, but it's a whole different thing about feeling like if this gets a shootout, we're probably winning.
And it's starting with that guy.
You pretty much know you're gonna, as you said, it'll be 1-0. Especially if he's shooting the top of the round. I mean, you look at the 3 shooters. Mishkov was stopped on his, but Mishkov has a bag of tricks, and Konechny is a little up and down, but in terms of shootouts, but that's pretty good collection they have there, and both of their goalies. Obviously, Erson's been just automatic in shootouts too, but when Vladar has faced those situations, he's been stopping pucks too. So, you don't have to be afraid of the shootouts anymore. Now, you're not going to stay perfect because things are going to happen.
I expect them to stay perfect this year, Bill. I really do. Because when the goalies, even when they haven't had great performances in the game, they go into the shootout.
Particularly Erson.
Yeah, it's remarkable to me how you can reset and go into the shootout and feel like you're going to be. Maybe they're just comfortable in it. And I think, the ability of a guy like Zegras helps the goalies for your team. Your goalies help him in a way. Everybody feels confident. And I think that's the mental game of a shootout, I think, is part of it also. But it's, for so many years, they just stunk in the shootout. Balanced scoring has been a huge thing, Bill. They now have 8 players with 5 or more goals. Couturier's got 4. Mishkov, by the way, picked up an extra goal. He tipped that Konechny one, the one-timer after York just undressed a Devil player. But having that kind of balance, I think they're one of 2 teams that are in this situation, along with Colorado, who we'll see coming up this weekend. But having that balance of the top 3 lines all contributing sometimes on the same night has been a hard thing to deal with for an opponent.
That's part of the whole developing an identity where it's different lines, different nights. I mean, the way the Flyers started this year, I'm talking about offensively, it was the Cates line, right?
Yeah.
The Cates line is 2/3 of it is still together, but Forster is still on a tear, but Cates is not. He's been a little bit off offensively for a little bit, but other guys are picking it up, so you don't even notice, and he still does the other things. So that's that's what you need, because a guy can take the ball and run with it for a while. Then that's another line's turn, another player's turn. That's the kind of depth we've been wanting to see for a long time.
Bill, what have you seen out of York?
York has played some really, really, really good hockey. The other night with they were in their own end a lot. 4 blocks in that first period alone. Just doing so many things well. And as you said, that move that he made to set up that goal. That was pure filth right there. So,
we haven't seen that since 2016 with Ghost, that kind of lateral movement along the blue line.
For sure.
And he's defended well, too. He's taken his game to a new level. We thought about guys that with a coaching change may benefit the most. And not that the message is entirely different from Rick Tocchet, but the messenger is. And it seems to be impacting Cam York in quite a positive way. Bobby Brink to some degree, I think, also. But, yeah, tremendous. He's playing really well right now. And he's logging a lot of minutes, and to me, he's one of those guys that can handle playing a lot of minutes. I want to settle one more thing, Bill. Well, we settle all family business, Godfather style here on the day of my my daughter's wedding. No, it's actually the christening day. But coaching, Rick Tocchet comes in, he implements the box and one. Obviously, he got buy-in from the guys executing it on the ice because Flyers give up the average 26 shots allowed a game. They have really done a good job protecting the middle of the ice. Their goaltenders' save percentage is much improved, and even Dan Vladar has the highest save percentage on high danger chances in the league. He thought so much of his structure defensively that he went to a 2-1-2, took a little more risk in what comes the other way. And I sent myself this email a while back in September, and I found it because I remember I put it together, and what I said in this email was there were 5 optimistic thoughts for the Flyers that if they were able to answer in the affirmative for these, then they would be in position. And one of the things I said was that at the holidays, Rick Tocchet will be in the Jack Adams conversation. Now, there's a portion of the vocal minority of fan base that would like to fire him into the sun. And this is after, which I don't get, because this is after the last 4 years combined prior to this season that the Flyers had a team winning percentage that was 6th worst in the NHL and was a whopping .456 points percentage. 7th worst, sorry.
Yeah.
Now they are the 6th highest in the NHL at .646. What are your thoughts on Tocchet and his staff? I'm talking Todd Reardon, Jay Varady, everybody. What is your thoughts on the staff, the job they've done so far?
So we're basically the quarter pole of the season. Task number 1, you mentioned the box in one, was implementing defensive structure. It's a 2-1-2 up ice, but it's still a 1-2-2 in the neutral zone. Killing a lot of plays before they even get entry, right? Having the structure in the D zone, which you need all 5 guys playing it. That's something that because if you don't have that, if there's one guy who's not pulling his weight, it's all going to fall apart. And yes, like full marks and full stop. Vladar in particular absolutely deserves huge credit when he's had high danger saves to make. But you can't separate that from team play because he knows where the shots are coming from, most likely.
Predictability.
So, yeah. So to have that where he knows that there's not going to be a lot of backdoor chances. I mean that's something that in high danger save percentage or any stat you have to really look at the plays that are coming in. You can break it down by video, and there have been times he's had to scramble maybe a little bit more lately than he was doing before. But implementing that structure, the D zone, the neutral zone, that was really the first task. One of the things that they've wanted to do, and the offense has been very inconsistent. Let's call a spade, right? But they're trying to implement things offensively, even a little bit of offensive coaching, a few more set plays, how to attack, how you're entering the zone, where guys should be. You can't put everything in place at once. It'd be great if you could, but you build it, right? So it's building blocks over the course of a season. There's still ways to go before the attack is consistent at the point where you want it. But you can see some of those elements starting to be added into what they build as the initial foundation. You can see the communication level. One of the things I love with Tocchet, but also with the assistants, you go to a practice and they're working with the guys. The communication level is fantastic. Not just on the bench, and we don't hear what goes on in the room, but the messaging, and say, not just saying I want you to do this, but showing guys what he wants them to do. Multiple players have mentioned that too. That's something that they really appreciate. It's a very hands-on kind of staff, but it's ultimately I think it will be a way that's sustainable, and it starts with off puck. So I want to see those other things added in consistently, but they've done a heck of a job for a quarter of a season, given not just the record. I mean, the record is nice. That's that's the bottom line is the wins and the losses, but it's really what you're trying to build towards. And I think they're doing a really good job putting those building blocks in place of what you want to work with. You have your systems, but a big thing with systems is a little bit like goaltenders, right? The goalie can't always just play the angle. Sometimes he has to come out of his structure.
Yep.
Same thing with
another team trying to mess up your system too, right?
Well, exactly. And so sometimes you have to read what's going on. There's a bit of improvisation. It's not going to all snap into place overnight. And there are players, particularly Mishkov being one of them. He made an unbelievable back checking play. There were the 2 goals, but and so that's going to be the number one thing you focus on. But in that third period, backtracking on a play, circling back, breaking up a play in the offensive zone, that to me was as important as any play he made offensively in that game. Yeah. And it shows that he's buying in, he's figuring things out, and he's getting to where I think he'll be ultimately a better player for it. And in terms of ice time numbers, please look at game situations. How many penalties did you have to kill in the game, right? How much ebb and flow was there in the game? And are you protecting the lead late?
Have you played 3 and 4? Is the ice time more balanced?
You're having to roll 4 lines.
Yep.
So if you're looking at power play time, if they have 1 power play or 2 power plays, that's where a minute or 2 minutes of his ice time is coming. So if you have a game with a lot of power plays, he's going to be out there about half the time, and then you'll see the minutes go up. But so with the situational use too. Yeah, you'll see if he keeps doing the things that he's been doing the last few games. I certainly think and hope that we don't really have to discuss Mishkov's ice time because it'll take care of itself.
I totally agree. He's never going to be a guy that's going to play 22 minutes a game because he doesn't kill penalties. The other thing is, what you're describing to me, Bill, is there is productive hockey that a lot of players play where they put up a pile of points and stuff. But you can play productive hockey and play winning hockey. I am really encouraged, as we're about a week away from his 21st birthday, at some of the steps he has taken to be a winning hockey player that is productive, not just a productive hockey player.
So little things sometimes too, right, Jason?
He's young and he's doing it already.
And he's holding on to pucks a little bit more too.
Yeah, and he's in the middle of the ice a little bit more too, isn't he? In the offensive zone.
These are all things too that they don't happen overnight.
No.
But
he is receptive to me.
He's been receptive to it. And whether it's been the captain, whether it's been the coaching staff, and most of all, give the player himself credit. Because it comes from inside, right? He has a will to win. So, I'm very encouraged by the things he's been doing in recent weeks, and it's not just the goals.
Yeah, I feel like I can rely on his offensive skills. We know that part about him. But when I see him back pressuring a play, to me, that's a guy who's buying in because he doesn't feel like he's out of the play, and he's not just interested in 2/3 of the ice when it's going the other way. Yeah. And to be doing that again before he's 21, to me, is being way ahead of the curve, because there's a lot of players that have been really dynamic offensive talents that it takes until they're 25 or 27. Look at Ovi. He played point production hockey for a long time.
Yeah. And what with Ovi, right? It was goals and it was hits. He would steamroll guys, but he wasn't a complete player.
He'd take himself out of plays by doing it.
The one of the ultimate play, different kind of player, right? But as he matured as a player, I'm trying to remember who said about him, but Matvei Michkov, because he had that 76 goal season as a rookie, a couple more 50 goal years. But as he went along, again, I'm trying to remember who said it. He said, watch him the final 5 minutes of a 1-goal game because he's become the best defensive player on the ice in those situations.
Less is more.
Yeah, and so there's no reason Mishkov can't improve in a similar kind of fashion where he hits a whole other level as a complete player, and the points will be there for him. So,
by the way, 76 goals as a rook for Solani is absurd. Like how good he was. Like that's incredible. You go 76, and I'm thinking Bill's going to say goal, and you go goals, and I'm like, yeah, that's right. That was just goals that he scored as a rookie. Unbelievable player. But I really like where Mishkov is and is headed because of those little things. He's really performing and winning hockey. And the fact of the matter is this Flyers team, the 6th best points percentage in the Eastern Conference. I mean, they are ahead of some heavy hitters and in good position right now. I mean, they're 2 points out of first with a game in hand.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. It's going to be an interesting week, Bill. This week, it's kind of a light week, nonetheless. Pittsburgh coming up tonight. Penguins at Xfinity Mobile Arena open up a 6-game. Yeah, you heard that right. 6-game homestand. And then we get the Sabres on Wednesday, a 7:30 puck drop. And then Sunday, maybe the ultimate test, as the best team by a country mile comes in the Colorado Avalanche. Yeah. We'll have you fully covered this week right here on Flyers Daily, and Bill will have you covered on PhiladelphiaFlyers.com, NHL.com, and the great HockeyHotStove.com. Everybody enjoy the game tonight. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you tomorrow on a brand new Flyers Daily.